All right, guys, let's get into this story. This is a really crazy story, and I can't even believe the outcome. Okay, guys. This is a really, really sad case. Every single murder case is horrific, but this one is extremely horrific in a sense of two amazing, innocent, loving people have an amazing wedding on the beach, probably their dream wedding, family and friends, and they drive off in a golf cart. I believe the brother-in-law or I think it was Samantha's brother, so drives the golf cart and in an area that was allowed. It was a 25-mile-per-hour zone. And I have a whole list of just the facts of this exact case. And I want to just hit that really quick before, let me finish that last statement before my ADHD gets the best of me. They're driving away. They had an amazing wedding on the beach and a reception, and they're driving away for what they're imagining to start the rest of their lives together. And I know that on my wedding day, I mean, I didn't have anything crazy, but I just know that that feeling was such an amazing feeling. And for it to turn out to be a tragedy is just something that truly I don't think anybody ever even can comprehend. This case still, watching the sentencing yesterday, I was in literal tears. I knew that I couldn't just watch this blindly, mainly because there's alcohol involved. And if you're new here, I am a recovering alcoholic, and I've been in recovery since July 4th of 2021. So there were many moments during this sentencing where not only was I just so sad for this beautiful, amazing woman losing her life, her amazing husband being widowed hours after marrying his wife, having the physical pain, the mental pain, just everything, the families involved, all of it. There's this part of me with this case that is like, holy shit, that could have been me. I could have been a Jamie Komoroski. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I was that bad. That doesn't mean I have any empathy for her though, because there's just certain things that I can't bypass. And when it comes to drinking and driving, and I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, people make mistakes, and yeah, and you learn from them. And this is a huge fucking mistake. A huge mistake. If this would have been me, I would be like, please get rid of me. I would not be able to sleep at night. And let me cover the facts of the case before my emotions take over, because that is just how much my heart just like yearns in this case. There's just it goes beyond measure. So this occurred in Folly Beach, South Carolina, April of 2023. Jamie Komoroski was driving 60 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. She killed a brand new bride, Samantha Miller, on her wedding night, and injured two others. Her blood alcohol level was 3 times over the legal limit. Samantha Miller died at the scene, still in her wedding dress. Another thing I'm just thinking of, like, the first responders going to this. Like, holy shit. Like, Jamie Komoroski was in custody from April 29th of 2023 Um, to March 1st of 2024, she was granted bond after they were unable to begin her trial. Her bond was $150,000. Normally it's 10%. The deadly crash happened on April 28th of 2023. If I said that or not. On the 1200 block of East Ashley Avenue around 10:15 p.m. Police observed a large crash scene with a golf cart with its side up against a gray Toyota Camry. Also saw multiple victims lying throughout the crash site. When Samantha Miller, who's the victim, this was the bride, was located, she was not breathing and had no pulse. Samantha was pronounced dead on scene. 2 other victims were in critical condition, which was the husband of Samantha and the brother. Jamie stated that she had a beer and a drink with tequila about an hour earlier. According to affidavits, when she stood up, she was very unsteady on her feet and almost fell down. She was arrested and charged with 3 counts of felony DUI with death and or great bodily injury and 1 count of reckless vehicular homicide. I will do the same thing like I do for all my videos. I will link this exact video. I love Court TV because of how they chunk everything and it has labels, so you can go to whatever you want. It especially helps people like me who's trying to cover this kind of stuff to just kind of go to and see, this is who's speaking, this is who's speaking. I cannot watch the victim impact statements, especially in this case. Shit, I was even crying during Sarah Boone's not her impact statement, but her George Torres's mother's statement and the sisters. I can't. Sometimes I can't with that. I will say that if you feel like you can handle it, listen to the victim impact statements, especially if you don't really have, not that you wouldn't, most people, it's pretty obvious of how everyone would lean in this kind of situation. Listen to the husband of Samantha Miller. I think his name is Eric Hutchinson. He just, oh, here's the brother. Oh, okay, I guess it was 3. There was like 4 total. At an hour and 28 minutes and 44 seconds is when Eric Hutchinson, that was Samantha's husband, he does about a 12-minute impact statement. And when I tell you I was sobbing, I can't imagine. You can feel his literal sadness and so much rage. It's just, it's very difficult. Also, Jamie gives a performance. I'm going to say that because I believe that Jamie ended up, they were supposed to start trial or jury selection, and then out of nowhere decided to agree to a plea deal. Most of the time, this occurs when there's overwhelming evidence from the state that you're going to get a way worse sentence if you have a trial. So she pled guilty to all counts and also gave a performance. And the performance was honestly to try to manipulate the judge. I have a bachelor's degree. I've done this. I've done that. I'm not saying that this girl doesn't feel sorry. She feels sorry for herself and for the life that she ruined for herself. There are jail calls out, video calls out of this girl. Not one time did I ever hear her, and correct me if I'm wrong, she never speaks about Samantha. I wouldn't, the person that I am, I would not be able to stop speaking about, I wouldn't be fighting for Bond. I wouldn't be, get rid of me. It just, I can't comprehend it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. With
Here we
the court's
go.
permission, I would like to invite Jamie up to address the court.
Yes, ma'am, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
My name is Jamie Komoroski, and on the night of April 28, 2023, I chose to drink and drive, which resulted in the death of Samantha Miller and the serious injuries of Eric Hutchinson and injuries to family members Benjamin and Brogan. This is the worst decision I have ever made in my life, and it has affected the lives of so many. First and foremost, I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused and say how truly and deeply sorry I am. Due to my poor decisions, a beautiful life was taken. A wife, sister, daughter, and friend of many is no longer with us. And for that, while I know an apology will fix nothing, all I can say is how incredibly remorseful I am. I also am truly sorry and remorseful for the physical and emotional pain I caused to the other family members. I wish I could go back and undo this terrible tragedy, but I cannot. I will live the rest of my life with immense regret for what happened that night. I also want to express my deep remorse and sincere apologies to all who were involved in this tragedy, including the first responders, police, friends, and families of the victims, and anyone who was hurt in any way due to my poor decisions that night. This will be something that impacts all of you for the rest of your lives. I take full responsibility for the tragic outcome that my decisions have made. I will carry this guilt with me for the rest of my life. And as much as I wish I could go back in time and have none of this happen, I know that cannot be done. A lesson I have learned is that just because you have good intentions or would never want to hurt anyone, if you aren't being responsible for your actions, you can and you will hurt people. I know I am going to be punished for these actions, and I agree that it is something that must be done. I would like to make it clear that whatever my punishment is, I will use the time to better myself, spread awareness.
All right, I want you guys to take note of what she just said, because I want you to pay attention to her reaction when she is handed down her sentence. Okay?
About the dangers of drinking and driving. Continue to help others with addictions through AA. I work every day to improve myself to give maximum service to the community and my fellows. Some ways I plan on doing this include staying extremely involved in AA and the fellowship of helping people recover from their addictions. I am able to do this because I know what it is like to be an addict. I did not want to believe that I had addiction to alcohol before this tragedy, and so I told myself every day I was normal. The fact was, though, that I was helplessly addicted to alcohol, and that I was living every day with no meaning. This led to me not caring about how my actions would affect others. I never want to live my life that way again. And I hope to help people to never have to feel that way as well. After completing my sentence, however long Your Honor decides, I plan on going back to school to get a master's degree in animal-assisted therapy. This degree will allow me to follow out my dreams of being able to help people recover from PTSD, anxiety, depression, addiction, and more through the use of rescue animals. Lastly, I want to share my story with as many people possible in order to try and prevent tragedies like this from happening to other families. I want to emphasize the importance of warnings of drinking and driving to college students as well as young adults who haven't heard the message since high school. It is vital that the warnings of drinking and driving don't stop after the age of 18. I feel we all need to be reminded, no matter what our age is, so that the reality that this can happen, if not careful, stays fresh in people's minds. I have never been in trouble before, but one isolated decision of mine devastated so many lives. All of this work I plan on doing will be dedicated to Samantha and her family. Unfortunately, it took this incredible tragedy and terrible incident to wake me up to the extent of my addiction. I hope to help people wake up and rehabilitate before it's too late. Because every single decision we make has consequences, and knowing you have taken a beautiful life from this world is something I will live with every moment of every day going forward. A life that should have lived on to fulfill all of her dreams and ambitions, who would have helped so many people in her life, all because of my own inconsiderate and thoughtless actions. I want the last thing that I say to be that from the very bottom of my heart, with every fiber in my being, how sorry I am, and that I take full responsibility for my actions. Hopefully one day you will be able to forgive me, but I know forgiveness must be earned. Regardless of whether that day ever comes, please know that I will always be devastated, deeply ashamed, and terribly sorry for what I have done. I pray God stands by the side of my victims and their family and loved ones for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Just gonna let you know, if you guys haven't caught the vibe yet, this judge does not fucking play. She don't give a fuck either. Next they just like talk about if she's gonna get, basically if she's gonna get time served from being on house arrest. Which she does grant that. It's like a year and a half. So now she's gonna stand for sentencing. And remember what I said, guys. Remember her from her own mouth that no matter what kind of sentence is handed down to her, she's going to use it. Okay, I want you to pay attention to her reaction.
I've listened very intently to everything that has been presented to the court, and I have taken into consideration the mitigation that has been presented. And based on what has been presented to the court, I find the following appropriate in the nature of sentencing. On the offense of reckless driving, reckless homicide, which is 2023 GS 103895. You're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 10 years and $5,000 provided upon the service of 10 years. So, yeah. On both counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 15 years and $5,100 provided upon the service of 15 years. And on the offense of felony DUI with death, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 25 years and $10,100 provided upon the service of 25 years. These sentences are concurrent.
She's already turned and looked at her attorney, and now she's turning and looking at her parents.
One another, you'll get credit pursuant to 241340 if that
Keep
becomes
watching her.
applicable. And I think it is appropriate, and I queried Mr. Finch for a particular reason. It was not random. Our state legislature, in their infinite wisdom, amended 241340 to allow for time spent on monitored house arrest. And it was contemplated that a person get credit when they are basically in jail at home. And based on how Ms. Komoroski's home detention was structured, she was in jail, but for being at home. And I think it is appropriate that she receive credit for any time served on monitored house arrest or home detention. Those terms in my mind are interchangeable. From the period of 3/1/2024 through the present, and we'll calculate that and place it on her sentencing sheets. Again, these sentences are concurrent. I've ordered the ATU if that is available to her, and she will get credit for any time served pursuant to 241340. Thank you all for your time and your attention today. Have a good afternoon. And I will leave the clearance of the courtroom to security, so I would ask that everyone stay in place and allow Major Bernstead and those who are assisting him. Ma'am, you may want to leave any valuables you have with your family. Leave that to them, so I would ask that everyone stay seated until security does what they need to do in terms of clearing the courtroom. And if Mr. Curry at this point are present, as soon as y'all get through doing that, if y'all could bring him in so we can take care of his matter as well.
All right, so let's break down her sentencing because it can be confusing, and it was confusing for me. It's still kind of confusing to me, or for me, when I hear sentences being broken down like that. So I do a little research, and Reddit is amazing. There's a Court TV Reddit thread or subreddit page, and I get a lot of really good information from there. So her sentence is, she gets credit for 1.5 years that she already served on house arrest. Typically that's not granted, but it was. She has to serve 85% of her sentence, which marks sentence at 20 years minimum and a maximum of 23.5 years. So she's 27 now. And if she were, say she were to serve the full, she's going to be close to 50, 51 years old when she gets out. And that is like, there's no, good behavior gets cut down. She pled guilty to everything. This is her actual sentence. So 23.5 is her maximum. 20 will be her minimum. She'll serve most of the time, what it seems like in a lot of cases like this, with these types of charges, they serve somewhere in between the minimum and the maximum. I hope she serves the maximum, and I'm sure the family does too. She also is going to come. It's also going to come with a crap ton of fines, fees, driving restrictions when she does finally get out. And the worst of all, the guilt of taking away an innocent life due to her own negligence. I think that they should have handcuffed her in front of the family right at sentencing, because she walked into that courtroom. She didn't come from jail. She came from her home because remember, she's on house arrest. It's things like that that I believe. I know every courtroom's different, every judge is different, but I think that it's those kind of things that help heal the victims. But such a tragic case. I can't get over the terrible things that happen like this. Let me know how you feel about the sentencing in the comments, and please, by all means, let me know if my audio is any better in these. I hope it is. That's all for this one. We'll see you in the next.
Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share with some friends.